Hi guys, so this is day 22 of the 60-day series where we talk about the 5 layers of AI. And as you all know, we explain all of these things because there's one main target that we've been after, and that is we are building our skill set on AI, starting from prompt engineering to the agentic layer. And to work around all this, most AI automation specialists out there don't do one thing. They don't build things for themselves, and they don't have a stable system that also works for themselves. There are most AI automation experts out there or specialists have been using just Upwork to set themselves up as they are this person, which is actually very okay when it comes to client acquisition. When it comes to client acquisition, that is very fine. However, I noticed that this is also one of the things that will get to break their system at the end of the day. If you don't have a structure for your own business while you are trying to offer a structure for another person's business, yours will collapse first, and it's going to affect every other person you are building for. What you would have noticed as well is that everything we've been building all this while, which includes the digital receptionist, which is the lead tracker, and the weekly lead digest, this is just an extension from this. If you do remember, we replaced something to just explain this. That was probably on day 17, and I had to bring that out on its own. This is a weekly digest, and this is a support ticket as well. So what I'm trying to do now, and what we're going to do today together, is we are going to build our entire CRM, that is your customer relationship management system. We're going to use Notion. Notion is very easy. This is what I use, and I also recommend this for a couple of agencies as well. And we have our first database here. This is our first CRM actually. And what we have here is what we're using for this lead tracker. But we want to ensure that whatever we're building out, we're able to do something that while we're having our leads, we want to have a way where we get our leads, our clients, our current client that we're working for, and also we want to also have projects. Now, why I'm trying to do this and why I've been working around this also is because one thing I noticed is that you can have a couple of clients. An example which I gave here is you can have 15 clients that you're working for where you have 2 to 3 automation projects. Then if you have every single one of them in just one CRM, or you don't even have a CRM at all in the first place, I bet it with you, the burnout is going to be crazy. And well, though I believe burnout is, a way of thinking, a mindset issue. However, I still feel like it's going to be a lot for you to manage, and which is why we have a CRM in the first place, to ensure that we're able to manage our leads, we're able to manage projects effectively. So what we have here is basically just, explaining to you why we have 3 databases and not one, and why we're going to build this thing together. So the first one we're going to be concerned about is the database one, which is leads, and we have this in place already. Interestingly, we've been working on this all this while. Yes, that has been my aim, because I just noticed that a lot of AI automation specialists out there are just focused on making money, which is actually okay. It is fine. You need to make money. I mean, that's one of the aim, right? But that's not the goal. If you are trying to provide value, you need to ensure that you also do it with a system in place, with a structure. So what I've started right from the beginning, our builds have always been actually for ourselves. So I noticed that a lot of people lack this. While you might have been seeing a lot of videos and be saving a lot of scenarios or blueprints, if I would to call it out like that. However, I realized that you just really don't have something of structure for yourself, which is why I have this. The first one is our lead tracker, which is what we have here. We're going to add a couple more properties to ensure that we have this in place. We have most of these except for this. We don't have notes and we don't have this, but this is for something different. I'm going to explain every single thing. So the way this is going to happen is this is the status flow of everything, and this is how your clients basically changes, and I'm going to explain that briefly to you. So the first one is you having this. So when I say this is your status flow, this is basically when you have a new lead, you have this. Then the next one, if you've contacted this new lead right after, most cases, if you've contacted this person probably via call, maybe you sent your booking link to this person, or if it's a warm lead, well, for an hot lead, you have to send a booking link immediately, which is what we have here already, the booking link, which is here. However, but when it's for the warm lead, I believe we have something in place which is meant to reach out to them. And that is us being able to collate every single one of them and say, if there's anybody that is between this range of dates, which was what we did the other day, you should have them sent to me, put them all together in one place and just send them to me via my email. And that was what we built here, where we have new leads from the past 7 days. But what I have here is for warm leads, but manual follow-up is needed for hot leads only. So every lead is going to be sent here actually, but manual follow-up will be sent to for the hot leads, which is in the first place they could have gotten a booking link, which they could have booked a call with you. That is what we believe it to be. But if anyone doesn't book a call with you, you obviously have your CRM here and you're able to track who you notice has not booked a call with you. So which is very obvious. So the next one that we do, okay, I've explained about this. For the warm lead, I remember explaining that as well, where in this case, what you're meant to do is, it's now your own choice where you get to adjust this. If it's warm leads you want to focus on reaching back to them, but having their leads all sent to you on your email. So this is a filter. If you remember, you have to add more filters, which is within these dates, give me the people within these dates that are also warm leads, that equals warm leads. So that's where you get to use this. If you do remember all this, you will understand what I've been trying to explain all this while. However, if you don't, you might have to watch the previous videos and check them out. It's going to really help you. I bet it with you. It's going to help you. Anyway, so the next one is, okay, I'm still here actually. So right after the contacted, qualified is basically saying, is this person, probably based on your conversation, is this person going to start work? And if you've gotten to the phase where you send a proposal and an invoice to this person, it should be very easy for you to just come back here and say you have closed this person as well. And there's also not interested. Probably at the end of the day, there's this warm lead that says they're not interested. You use this and the person, you can just leave the person out. And there are actually ways around Notion where you can get to filter out anyone that is not interested. It's actually very simple. You have your filter here where you can filter out people that are not interested. Where do we have our source, status? And you can filter out is not. So everything you see here from now on is going to just be new leads or any other thing that is not interested. But let us add this back and reset. So we are back now and have everything in place. So you just need to understand how to make use of your CRM effectively. That is what I've been trying to explain all this while. So the second database we are going to create is going to be for the clients. That is, we want to have the people we are working with at the moment, those which we have closed already, which we have their projects with us. We need to have a database in place where we know that these are the people that are working with us at the moment. And in most cases, I would say, rather than even though we could have it closed, but we have a couple of phases where we put them, which is this person is on onboarding, this person is probably on the active, or this person has been paused, probably due to a couple of things, or this person is on churn, basically, which I don't pray for you to have actually. We have all this in place. We are going to build it together as well. And lastly, we have projects. Now, for each client you are working for, you have to assign them to a particular project or a couple of projects, basically. So this is also what we're going to build together. And right after that, we're going to connect these 3 databases together. So today is not just about make.com, though we're also going to build a scenario or a couple of things together, which I also added here. We're going to build this scenario together. That's the lead to clients. However, we still need to build this database together, connect them before we go on with the rest of the plan. It's going to be very interesting. I believe so. So let's start with that now. We've built this. However, we still need to adjust a couple of things, and that includes the notes. So we have all this in place already. Name, email, WhatsApp, budget, message, lead. Let's see. Name, email, WhatsApp, budget, message, lead, status, source. I believe we have our data. We don't have a note and we don't have related clients. We're going to pause on that related clients. It is not something we need to do now. It's something we need to do right after we've created the client's database. There's something around that. One thing you need to know is that I've been talking about Notion all this while. I've not talked about even how to get access to Notion. Just type in notion.com and you see this. notion.com, and you should be able to create your account there. But I believe anyone watching this video should have created their account all this while. So what we're going to do next is we are going to add our notes, and it's the property. The property is text. The property type is a text. So we're going to click on the plus icon here, and we're going to look for text. That's the property type, and we're going to just adjust it, the no name here, and just change it to notes. And yeah, we have that in place now. And yeah, it's as simple as that actually. So we have that in place. Now the next thing we're going to build together is going to be, I'm going to add all this. One thing I'm going to tell you is, though you have access to day 14, I bet it's with you might not be able to have access to this database, because it's, even though I share this with everyone, it's not going to still show up. So apologies for that. It's not going to show up because it's connected to my own account. So you have to I've been following us all this while to build something like this as well. So we're going to have this. Should I duplicate? No, let me just create an extra. But anyone in day 14 will be confused on why we have another database named something else, right? So let me take this out and just add it here instead. I just have to probably add it here instead. And that is me doing this. Okay. So I'm going to have its database full page. So, and we're going to call it, I'm going to call it clients. Let's go back. We're going to call it clients. So though we have this as well, let's open our lead tracker down. Let's open all this down. Okay. Sorry, that is me preparing for folder classes. So that is our lead tab. We're going to have our clients as well. And we need to open a new tab. We're also going to have to create projects as well. I have to create projects. So to keep creating this, just look for any element out there and click on the plus. And that plus is just basically you adding a database, a new database. So this database is going to be called projects. And we go back in time. We're actually not going back in time. Like, well, when you think about it, we're just going back to the next page. But I like putting it that way. It just seems interesting. While you are working, you are enjoying what you are doing, and that is basically what I'm doing. So one of the things I'm going to add is that if anyone is actually building automations, or you are into AI generally, at one point you notice that what you gain in some areas, aside from the monetary aspect or the financial aspect or anything, is you enjoying what you do, and you enjoying what you do will keep making you do more. That is basically what I do. And that's basically what I'm doing. Okay, so we have our clients. Let's just build this together, and I'm probably going to stop yapping right now. So we have our properties as a name, which is already in default, right? So we have to build up all these as well. That's the email, WhatsApp number, monthly retainer, status. Wow, this is actually a lot. But we can do this together, I believe. Family, friendship. All right. So the first one we're going to build is we're going to add in, please, I need you to all follow email and WhatsApp number. So this should be, when you want to add your email, this is the email property. That's I think that's email already. Now WhatsApp number should be phone, and that is where we have to adjust this and say WhatsApp number. And I think we do have it exactly like that. Just we could have just used WhatsApp itself. All right. So now we have the next one, which is, what's the next one? Monthly retainer. Because I'm trying to think of, there might be projects that is just one off, but most of the time with the clients that you work with, depending on how your offer was in the first place, could be a one-time project or could be a monthly retainer. And most of the time I would rather you go for working with them on a long run, so they have to hire you as a retainer. So let's just go on with it. We could adjust any other thing later on. So we have our number. That's our number. And there's actually a way we can, work around this. Honestly, using Notion is fun. We could use a bar, we could use a ring, we could use anything. It's actually very fun. However, let's just change this and let's say monthly retainer. That's the price. And the next one we're going to pick on is our status. That's a select. And that's where we start in 1, 2, 3, 4. It's status. That's a status. Now you're going to bring a select. We're going to have to edit this property. And it's going to show us multiple properties that we have to edit. So this, we're meant to bring in onboarding should be the first by default. Onboarding. The next one should be active, pause, and shunned. Active. I should probably use this as active instead. Or rather, since what I have here is to do, in progress. Nope. I would rather have this here. Completed. Nah, there's nothing like completed. That's to all be in progress. We can add a new option instead. Active. Sorry, what I actually did was adding a new. I'm trying to edit this. I've forgotten how to just walk around that. If I have a status, we could. No, this is not the right part. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to put active on completed, and this is active paused. Sorry, we're supposed to actually use this active. I rather use the green for active. Okay, let me use this. Paused is a blue, but active should be a green. Active should be a green. And shunned should be, let's see, shunned. God, okay. Why didn't that get added? No. Okay, so we have that in place now. So shunned is in red to do. And yeah, I believe this is okay. This is nice. It's nice. So we have it wrapped. And okay, so we have this as our defaults. Since we are default, we can also have our shunned. And we have it in paused. Now, completed is active. All right, this is good. The next one we should work on is, so we have our start date. That's basically the date. Next review date. When to schedule next check-in. And system build. Start date when they became a client. Okay. So start date. That's going to be our date. And start date. Also a date here. Actually, there's a way around working on dates. And I'm trying to see if I should use that instead of this. Let's see. However, we can leave it this way. This is still okay. There is something like this. This is an automatic date created. This created time, edited time. Let's leave it as dates that we did manually. So the next one is next review dates. This is quite long, so let's copy. Next review date, which is also going to be a date. And the next one is systems built. That's which systems. This one might have to be. These are options we had ourselves in this multi-select. This is not something we have to pick like our onboarding, active, and post. It's not something we could predict. It's only if, in a case where there's a particular service that you sell and you don't sell anything other than that. An example is there are some agencies out there that what they sell are actually AI agents. And some sell, some creative agencies that uses AI now just sell design AI agents and just various more like that. So if you are also focused on probably marketing or ads and things like this, you could already know what you want to sell. But in a case where you are probably following this for the first time and you've not chosen that, we are going to talk about that towards the ending of this entire series, where I show you different parts of where or which niche you can actually pick and where to focus on, which value to continue to give to these people. So we're going to talk about that in the future, and let's just continue this for now. So these are what we had by ourselves. We can leave the multi-select open. You can leave it open. So systems built, right? Systems built, and we choose a multi-select, and we have it here, and we're going to go to adjust this and leave this. So what do we have next? Contract signed, checkbox. Simply, just yes or no. Contract box, and that should be yes or no. Just, this is yes and this is a no. It's as simple as that. All right, so where was I? Yes, so we have contract signed. So the next one, that's a checkbox, right? So the next one we have related leads. How many minutes have we taken here? This is 23 minutes. We still have a little bit of time if we're not going to take too much time. So we are meant to actually work on 1, 2, 3. So the thing is, we're not going to set these 3 up yet. And there's a reason behind that. If we set this up, there's no way to connect these two. So when you see anything related leads, related project, total project, these 3 below this is what is going to connect our database to the other databases that are there, like the project base, the clients, the lead base as well. So, that's basically what we're going to do after. So we've built this to the current state we can. And yeah, we have that for now. And the next thing we're going to create is the project. So we've created we have this lead, we have a client, and we need a project as well. So as usual, this is the default, this is the project, and we have our name. We could just have this. I mean, you can still even though it is by default, you can still edit it and change just the name. And the next one, we have our client. This is relations. Okay, so that means at the meantime we cannot add that to it yet. Okay, so the next one we also need is this, and let's create this by the sides. Which property do we have here? We have select, and okay, this one I'm going to show you real quick so you understand our relations very well. This is where relations are. Now when I click on relations, you see it's trying to link somewhere. That's the thing. So we could also add this to it at the beginning. I mean, since we have all this created already, we could start adding this. So if we have this in place, you know what? Let's just clients, and you can add, you see, add relations. As simple as that. So you add this to here, and we could start, adding them together now since we have these ones in place already. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to have to add, okay, so that's the make.com scenario. Now what we're basically doing here is anytime, I'm going to use this as example, though these are your own scenarios. Anytime you have a scenario created for a particular client, what you are going to have here, this make.com scenario URL, which is the URL direct link to the make.com scenario, is basically you saying that what you want to do is to add this URL. You can copy a URL on make.com if you don't know that yet by just turning it to a public scenario page, and you will get the link. So it's as simple as that. And this is to, in any case you want to understand what you were building for this particular client, this is just a very easy way to do that. So you can copy the link and paste it somewhere, wherever it is. So what we're going to do is, I think we have it as URL, right? Let's make it as URL first. So this is our make.com scenario URL, and we had this. For example, now this is where we just paste the URL. You can see, so it's as simple as that. Let's go back now. The next one is our documentation. This is a link to the systems documentation on Notion page. Now what I'm saying this is going to be is, anytime you build a scenario or anytime you build an AI automation or an automation generally for any client or any agency or anyone you work with, what you're basically doing is you have to have an SOP page. I do this every single time with every single one of my clients, that once I build something, the same way I'm having this structure to you as every single day of the video of the entire series that we're making, I also do the same thing. I'm so used to this at this moment that this is what I do, so that these clients or this business owner or these agencies could actually read through and understand what exactly is going on in the scenario. And they will also understand every single thing I've put in place. And in most cases, when I work with agencies, I do that often because this is a way I'm able to partner with them when I work as their AI automation partner. And basically what I just do is I will create this. They're able to use this to also submit to their own clients. So I work as a partner. I'm like a part of their team, but not officially a part of their team. And I just basically create that, and they're able to send this to their clients or whoever business owner or company they're working for. And it's just me doing the job, but them being, the one submitting it. That's just what that's about. So I do this often, and you could also pick that up in any case. So we are building the documentation, which is the link to the Notion page created particularly for that product. So what we have here is documentation, also a URL, and we're going to change this to documentation. Okay, we're going to change this to documentation and also a URL, right? So the next thing is a start date. So when did I start this particular project? We're going to pick a date. Go live date is also there. So start date first as a date. That's when I started the project. Oh my God. Go live date is also there. And this is when, okay, you know what? Let me just go here. Go live dates. All right. So the next one we are meant to add into this is the monthly operation used. So this is a point where you get to have to calculate by tracking the operations. Basically, you have to calculate and have a number. Just put all these things together so you also know how to keep track of all these things. So in most cases, your clients, especially those business owners, they don't really more like give a damn for things like this. But these are things you put in place so as to ensure that you track every single one, every single step. So these are things you put in place so you get to track every single thing that you're doing. And what we have here is monthly operation used. So what is that again? That's number, and that is monthly operation used. All right, so the next one is going to be notes, just our technical notes or something. And the next one is notes as a text, and we have this in place. And yeah, so we have built the three up, and what we're going to do now, you can see this one doesn't have any other thing below to connect. That's because we've done the connection here already. What I assumed here is that we have not created every single one of them. But now that we've done that, now let's go back to this and set up our relations to related clients. So we're going to set up our relations and connect it to clients. This is currently our leads. So we're going to go back to leads. Let's arrange it like this. We're going to go back to leads, and we're going to create relations as relations, and we're going to connect it to our clients. That is what we do. Now, is it a two-way relation? That's where we get to understand from here. It's just a direct one here. And also auto-created when you set this auto this. So that is just the way we do it. So anyway, we can just leave it as just one way off yet. And we're going to edit this and say related clients. And the next one is our client itself. So we're going to go to the database for clients. So this is the database for clients. That's related lead, auto-created when you set up the leads and relation. There's a relations to leads. So that means whatever we have here should be connected to leads. That's clients, right? So let's connect that to leads. No, it's done. So relations as well. And this is us connecting it to leads. So we have this and we're calling it related leads. And the next one we're also going to do is also same relations. But this time around, we're going to connect this to projects. So projects, and that is related projects. As seen here, related projects. So the total projects, this is a roll-up. This is a roll-up of clients, right? So had relations, and yeah. So this is a roll-up. So you need to look for where is a roll-up here. The roll-up, total projects. All right, so we have this in place now, and we could see to this point, we have everything connected. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's nothing crazy. So now setting up the relations. We've realized that we've created every single one. We have this already set up. We have this set up as well. This is our clients database, and this is our project database as well. We have this as our clients. So the next thing we're going to do is we have to set up each relation step by step. Now the relations one, which says the leads to clients, that's the first thing we need to set up. And if you look at the leads to clients, where we have it is here. That's what the leads to clients. That's what we have here. So what we're going to do here is this. Open the leads database, which is obviously, this is what we have here. And we've added it. We'll add a new property. We've basically done every single one of them. And we've done this. That's in click add relations, click the picker client, show clients. And this creates the lead. We've added that. The relations to, we've added that as well. I added the roll-up, relations, related clients. Hold on. Let's see. Calculates. Hold on. Let me. So one thing, if you notice that if you've been actually following across, so one thing you notice if you've actually been following along every single one is that what we have here now, we have a new lead tracker. I did not create this by myself. Notion created this itself. And this is to show that if you follow it this way, what I mean is, at each time, auto-created when you set up projects. Now, this is why I added this in place, which I even forgot when I was working on this. Now, this is the first one that you're actually meant to create. After creating the client's database, you create this. This, when you connect this is the lead. We created this by ourselves. Now, what is supposed to happen is when we created this, we're supposed to turn the two-way relations on. When we turn this on, it's going to automatically create something on the client side, since we are related to clients, and that was what it created here. So now this is actually what we are supposed to have rather than this. So we have a duplicate, but it's harmful, but it's harmless. So in this case, you can just remove this. you can delete this and bring this over here and just rename this as the related lead. So when you see this, it's currently connected. That is the thing. It is connected already. So the same thing what applies for the rest of them as well. So what I mean here now is that the fact that we've created all this in place is a step that we should take. You should have Notion auto create some of them, and while we create some the initial phase. So the initial phase, to go back in time now, is for the first one, which is lead tracker, which is here. You are meant to create this yourself. When you create this, you link it by yourself. When you've created this, you can see two-way relations. Let's do it once again so you just get to understand what I'm saying. So when we create a new relation on lead tracker, which is the first one, we could have just when we linked it here, we should have turned this on. That was the thing. So now we are going to cancel it since we have created one already. Now it has created automatically, it has created this for us, which you can also confirm here. But you can see the rest of these do not have one. We are not connected. So when we create a related project from here to connect to our projects here, in the first place, let us see what this happens with. So you can see that it says auto created when you set up the leads. Now what we have here is also auto created when you set up the project to client relations, which is here. That's the project to client relations here. So what it's basically saying now is that we could go to our clients. This is the main place we are going to go to, and that's related projects. We can delete this as well. Delete. Okay, it's not calculating projects now anymore. So what we're going to do is for here, what you should have just done is just turn this on, and you can what's it called? Related property name. When you leave it like that, you notice that it's going to create something by itself. It just creates itself. You could also rename it yourself from there. So we're going to bring this back again and call it related projects. So now we are connected. You can see now we're connected. The other one is this. Now let us just keep going back. The next one it tells us is that's the Rollup. Count deleted projects and set up after creating projects. So what we have here, we've already connected this. Every single one of the thing I'm saying is basically what is here. So what you should have done in the first place, or what we should have done rather, should have created the leads to clients, which was the first one here. Then we could have gone to projects first to create projects to clients, which is also going to connect, which we already did now. We created this and we connected it here, and now it is here, right? Now the last one we're actually meant to do is the roll-up. So the next one we have is the roll-up on clients. So what I'm going to do this time around as well, it says, create a roll-up and related project. So what we're meant to do is go to this client here and pick this is it. That's change. We select this related project, which is the one right in front here. Related project. Now it is connected now. It can calculate it, because the main aim is for it to be able to calculate it. You can see count all, name, total projects. So it's supposed to, property name is this, or any project field. It's supposed to calculate all. Show original. You can see every single one of them. So let's see once again, or count all rather. I said calculate all. Count all. So it's to count all. Let's see, it's on count all now. So what we have now is going to be able to count every single one of our projects that we have. So let's see how this works in real time. So now every client record shows how many projects are linked to them. Everything we've done so far has been just following this particular resource guide. Now the next thing we're going to do now is to connect our database to make.com. Since we have our lead database, client database, and project database now, we want to set up our automations or connect it around with every single one of the things we've been building all this while. In make.com, you are going to set up a Notion module where you have to identify the correct database. I've been doing this all this while, so you should know what it basically means. Is just, I'm just trying to explain that you can just you can search, or you can take the database by simply taking anything after the V. Now, how do you know what is after the V? Let's go back here. Sorry, we're on leads, right? We're here. So anything, sorry, I said right after, right? Right before the V. This is it. This is our database. This is actually our database ID. This is the same thing we can see here. You can see this 3.8 and stops at 4.5, right? So what you see here is 3.8 and it stops at 4.5. So you can manually connect your database ID here, which is we speaking here, enter manually, and that's what we have here. However, we can just enter from the list as well, which we also have done here. So those are the two ways of connecting your database ID. It also works the same thing for spreadsheet actually. For Google Spreadsheet, you could also copy. You could also copy what is right on top from the URL, or you could connect it by entering the name as well. So what we have next is just explaining how to run on this. And yeah, it's as simple as that. I'm just explaining that aspect. So what we're going to do next is updating our existing scenarios. Now, we've built all these things in place already. We've built a couple of things already. How do we ensure that we connect every single one of them? We need to verify that every single one of them is connected to the right database. So what we have here for the first one is a digital receptionist, which will say open the Notion module, that's the CRM, create new lead record, which we already did here. So we're not supposed to even go too far on this. However, there is something I do every time. I don't know if everyone else does it too. I try to refresh so we get to see new properties being added. So now we have notes, right? We have notes. And this notes is something you are meant to enter manually. So since we can just close it up. This is what I do to avoid having an empty, because there's something I've noticed. I've noticed that across all this, there's a way it can still give an empty value. It's going to be a value of its own, but it's empty. I have noticed that, and that has stopped me from some of my work. So most of the time, if I understand that I'm not mapping anything in something empty like this, I close it up to ensure that what is just empty. It shows it's empty. So that is what I do most of the time. And I don't know if anyone else does that, but it's just it's something I realize it's maybe needed. So yeah, we have that. We've closed that, so we can save that. Let's just check through every single one that we have here. The same thing here, we don't have a note yet, right? That means it's not updated with the new things that we've built. So you have to refresh. You can refresh here or refresh here, whichever one is good. Now we have this in place. It's still not taking the notes. So what we're going to do, let's refresh this database itself. Okay. Yes, now we have notes. I close it up as well. And I also do the same thing here as well. So this is just part of the practices I do every single time to ensure every single one of my automations are pretty tight. Okay, and we refresh this as well. Let's see. All right. So, and why we are doing this is because our notes, once again, are manually imputed by ourselves. If you see here, these notes are just for you to, right after your discovery call with this client, whoever the client is, or probably an agency, any one of them, you probably have some, notes that you just want to understand what you guys have talked about, probably a summary or your transcript itself, you could put it there. Or if you have a summary that you can put together, there's something I actually use, and you could also build a automation for that. Anytime I have a call with a client, I use I think that's Phantom. This is Phantom. So I use Phantom Note Taker. And what this does is I connect this to every call. It's like a note taker. It joins you and your, okay, hold on. So what I was explaining was that you have to, in any case you want to go on a call with anyone, any client, you have to also let this person be aware that you're going to record and you're going to take notes or something using a platform like this. Aside from Phantom, I believe you could use I think there's Otter AI. Yes. I initially used this. However, I think there was something about it that just made me realize it was better. So you could just go for this. So when you are done with the call, you could just you get this email. You probably get the email where you have a transcript or a summary of everything. And yeah, it's as simple as that. Let's see. I have someone reaching out to me. So now the next thing we're going to do is, I think I've explained that briefly. And where were we? So we're talking about this particular, yes, we're meant to update it. So we've done that. Let me see. So we've changed it and we have our new database, which is connected to these same leads. I'm still calling it the lead tracker, but I guess that's still fine. And yeah, so the next thing I'm actually meant to do is we have to also confirm that we change this to also the leads database as well. So we have this, verify the filter condition and use the correct property names and everything. Yes, everything is actually correct. So, but let's confirm as well. I believe we have this connected to lead tracker as well. Yeah, nope, we don't have this connected. Is this connected to lead tracker? Let's see. Leads. Yeah, it's supposed to take all this. This is the data source. Database, pages. This can be used if your database has only a single data source. Ours have multiple data sources. So we need to ensure that what we are using is actually correct. Let's go to the integration. I have an integration slash integration, my integration over here. Okay, so I have this connected now. I want to confirm if I've not added any other page or any other database rather to that lead tracker, and it's taking our time, so we could pause a bit. Okay, wow, that was right on time now. So then content access, and we have it only connected to one, which is our lead tracker. So I guess this should be fine. This should be fine as well. Data source ID, not the database ID. So it's quite okay. So, and our database doesn't have, it has a single data source. Let us check this out. Let's see what's up from this. And search query, let's see leads. Nope. The query search is not still bringing anything up. But I've not really used something like this. So I will just say we go back here instead. Since this is already able to look for what we want, so I mean, we could just go back here and pick this. What I'm using this for currently, I am not adding anything extra to it. However, if it's based on what I explained to you in probably, I think that was day 19 or day 17. I think that was day 17. I would say you could actually use this for more things, which I believe you could use this for, to get a list of people that are on the warm status or the warm lead tier rather, and you could also get their leads and you'll be able to reach out to them manually. That's basically what this is. So the last one also, if you've added Notion login to the fallback, where it's meant to update the leads or the separate support database, update to the leads or separate support database. The thing about it is that I think I did connect this somewhere. This is the support database. I did connect this somewhere, and I have it also connected to the lead tracker. These are support tickets and the lead tier is code. Now the thing about this is that I do remember that though while we have this connected here, I do remember that most of the things that here are not things that a support ticket could use right here. They're not, I mean for the Notion itself, they're not things a support ticket, because this is basically creating a new lead record. So this is not what a support ticket could use. So what I'm going to do real quick is I will have to trace back. This is day 17. This is day 19. This is day 17. I have to trace back to the exact dates, and I will see what we included in the support tickets router. So let's go back, and I will go to day 17 and see what I included there. Let's see, we have the fallback, which I said we should never skip. Log into this, so you know what happened. And this is the full ticket build, where I added, where did I add the Notion? So all I did actually, I did not add Notion. I did not connect Notion to it. So I just left that. And but basically all I have here is module 1, which is here connected to just emails. It's not actually connected. It's not supposed to be connected to any of the Notion. But towards the end, did I say we should add it there? No, we didn't need to add it there. The explanation I was giving on routers and logic, if you do remember, was just based on how a router works and how we can use that for support tickets. The example I gave here was for e-commerce, and I also gave some parts which we could also work on. This geographical, which is if you are picking a particular country and you have different ways to treat them. An example of the way to treat them, I mean here, is based on pricing because of the cost. And when you work on pricing, we could assume that the same way Claude, for my Claude payments now, I remember I was paying $20 per month, right? However, I discovered that if you have a Nigerian account, you could actually pay lesser amounts, which I opted out of paying $20 per month, and I had to go for instead that's 15,000 naira, right? So that was better. So this is the kind of treatment I do mean we could use for geographical routing. And there's a lead source routing as well, which is, trying to understand where the sources is from, probably from your ads, from organic, or from cold outreach or anything. That was why I included here. So this is just about routers and logics behind routers and all. So we don't necessarily need to add any of this behind it. We actually don't need to do this. It's not needed in this particular support ticket. However, I did say this intentionally because there might be a case where you want to update this particular person in your database. Probably this person reached out to you and told you, okay, they have an issue right now and you should work on with them on the issue. This is something you could work on. What I'm going to make How I'm going to make this better rather is I'm going to go to Tally. I think we built our support ticket on Tally, right? So we should probably have some things on Tally already. We'll get to understand how the form is, and that will give me an idea on how to create something behind that. So the support ticket we have is just billing, features, this urgent, nothing much. I also did not even ask for email or anything. I do remember mentioning this on day 17. So in this case, what we're actually supposed to do is to probably create a new database for this, or if we want to connect it to this database, we need to find a way where we put something which just indicates that this person probably needs support or is currently on support or has a technical issue or something going on. So that's basically what we're meant to do on that aspect. So let's go back and address what we've been working on all this while. So what we have here back here. So what you can do, like I said here, you can update to the leads. But if you are not going to add, because there's no email, there's nothing here. If you want to add this to part of whatever you are building here for yourself, where you need a support ticket, I don't really think we automation specialists really need a support ticket at this moment. You could talk to your clients directly or reach out to them, try to be available for them as well. I don't really think we need this. This was just for an example. But in any case where you want to add this to probably your agency, you are building this for your agency or anything, you have a large amount of clientele, you could just create a new support ticket database, or you could add it to this leads database. But when you do that, you need to give them a place to fill in the form for names. That's the name. This is what to ensure that you are going to have them directed to the right place. So it's meant to listen to new requests, and you probably have to adjust some things on the database as well. What I mean here is that if you want to use the normal lead database, which is what we have. So I believe what we're going to do now is we should create our scenario, and that is where we have to create a new scenario apparently. We can start from here. There's a save changes, and we need to go back to, okay, so we have these as well. This still keeps giving us this. Let's see what's going on here. No warning. So hold on, I need to confirm something. What is showing us right at the overview of each scenario now means that we are still connected to just this, which I want us to actually connect it here instead. Yes, so this is what we are actually supposed to have. Let's see if it saves it. Let's save. Directive is outside of the error handler. Retry. Is there anyone outside? 1, 2, 3. There's one more here. Retry. This is a retry. Okay, it means this. Okay, let's try to save it. Directive outside. Any other one? Are we missing anyone? I mean, we could save anyway. For what we're building. Okay, so we're back now. On the overview, we see we have this on and this on. So we've built this tree for ourselves. We've not saved these, have we? It still calls it the daily warm follow-up reminder. Let's save this. Save. We have a support here as well. I want us to confirm every single scenario we've built. So, okay, so apparently we have this, which I just created, and this is a weekly digest. But if you do remember, we have a daily warm lead follow-up reminder, and that's what we have here. We have, let's say, this was the one I created for the daily warm-up lead follow-up, and we could use this for our, every day we get to get the warm-up, And we could also use this for weekly lead digest. So we could add this to the top. I mean, one of the ones that are very important to us. We could add this to the top. And yeah, we basically have 4 that we've created so far. I mean, we have a couple of we've created all through the class. However, these 4 are the main things that we've been building since that should be day 14 or day 15. So anyway, let's just continue with this. We need to create a new scenario apparently. That's 1. Let's start from here, and we could cancel it out, and we can cancel this out. So we have this. So we're going to build this together, and I hope you are following with this. And every single time, I already put every single thing in place for you, so you don't even need to stress much. We have just 1, 2, 3 modules to actually connect together. So the module is going to create clients, and this module is also going to update a database item. Now you need to understand that every single database that we've created all this while here, though we've connected them, there's no way to upload the data for each lead. There's no way to take the details, put it there. Though it is connected, it still needs us to manually send it somewhere, or with the use of AI automation now, we could use the use of make.com. We could use this to update whatever we're working on. Now, what I mean here is that we need to know if these clients, we're already working with these clients, and once we are working with them, which probably we've closed them in this case, we have to send them to the client database. So that's what we're going to do here. That's basically what we're doing here. We have to ensure, in this case now, in the client database, it's going to say it's onboarding, and this is closed equals to close. So once it's equals to close, we know that at that point it could automatically send their details to client database and says is onboarding. That's what we're going to build together. So if you don't understand everything I've said, just know we're going to be building this together right here. So let's start from the first one, modules to trigger. That's Notion watch database item, and that's the database, and that's the updated item. And it's going to watch for a filter. It's going to always check this. And the next thing, once the condition is in place, it's going to send it to create client. That's we're going to send it to create a new client record inside the client's database. And we will tell it to give it a name, email, WhatsApp, all this single one of them. And it's going to link the lead, which is we're also going to add a module, which is to update database item also on the leads, which is going to link it, going to give the page ID to the related client, and it's going to connect it together automatically. So, I mean, all this is all talk. So let's just build. Watch database item. You look for Notion. Where is it? Sometimes I just don't like whenever they call it a data source. To be very honest, it was just all database item before. What the hell is data source? Watch database item. So that is this. I'm trying to understand if there is any like this instant acid content. I would actually prefer events, but events takes more. But it's a webbook still, but it takes more stress to set it up in this particular condition. So what we're going to use is just acid, but this is not, it's not a webbook. So that means it has to manually go through every single time. And what we're going to set up here, according to what I put here now, is going to watch for updated items, watch for database item, and which database are we taking it from? I noted it has to be the lead, okay. And yes, that's taking that, and created time. Do we really need updated time? It's updated time we actually need. So we're increasing the limits here to 10, and from now on. So the next one we're going to connect to it, or rather what we're going to do is we're going to set a filter between this and this. But what we're going to do first is let us create this. So we're going to go to create client record. That's to create, go to Notion as well again, and create a new database item legacy, create a new data. It's basically the same thing. So what we are having here now, since what we have here is to connect the client's database, we need to ensure we've connected these clients to our connection at the back end. So you can see our current connection is on none, which means that we need to explore and see. Let's pick lead tracker, and that is this. and we had to page. So since we've done this, it's going to automatically find itself here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to refresh this particular one, and we ask it for clients. I mean, still the same thing. And it's going to pull in the client's database ID, which is what we have here now. Now, let's see if we're correct. This is the database ID for client. That's 38 and 00. So let's confirm here as well. That's 38 and 00 right before the question mark and the V. You can see it right there. You can see it right here. So that means we're correct. And with this, we can map every single details that we want from here. So that is what we're basically doing once again is from the lead data, the lead tracker rather, we are taking from here any one of them which we see fulfill a particular condition. We've not built that condition. This is the condition, but we need to at least connect it in the first place. Anyone that fulfills this condition will get their details created in the client's database as well. So that's what we're trying to do here. Let's map all these things first. Let's first map everything in place. So we have the name, we have a plain text, we have our WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp should be somewhere here. We have our email should be somewhere here. We have a monthly retainer. Is it yes or no? A monthly retainer in this case, I think this is something we have to note ourselves. This is not something, okay, we did not include a monthly retainer, or it is. So this is something like a manual input that you have to do. Let's check our database if we actually said it's going to be a manual input. Okay, we did not specify that, but this is something you have to put in yourself in your CRM. This is something you have to put in yourself, not something your automation has to do for you. So the only things that we want to fill in are this. Whatever details we have here, the only things we are going to connect. The rest is going to be on empty. Once again, the rest is going to be on empty. Contract signed. Did we sign a contract actually? Did we really do that? We did not add that to it. So it's your own to do as well. So you leave that on empty. A start date. Did we say we should add that? Do we really need a start date? Yes, we do. We are doing a start now. So that means whenever you make your changes here and you say it is closed, if this is the condition that we use and we say it is closed, it's going to automatically say, you know what, since it's closed, we want to create a new client. We want to create a new client profile in our client database. And what it's basically doing is going to create all this that we've mapped to it. Then we manually have to go and tell it, okay, so this was actually the price. This is actually the price this person wants to pay. And we have our start date connected, which should be now. And this will be on default as onboarding. To be on default onboarding. That should be there already. So we don't have to stress ourselves. So that should be on default as onboarding. Whoever we create is on onboarding by default. So for this start date, we can just use now and just say now. So the current date is what we just use. We don't need to include time, to be honest. But if we want to, you can include time as well. So related leads, did we say we're going to say that? No. So we are not even meant to touch that at all. Just leave that alone. Status, we meant to touch status as well. Status is fixed on onboarding, which we already did. And the next review date, we are not meant to actually fill that. So leave that as well. And the system build, this one should be done manually. This is not something that you have to include here as well. So we're also leaving that as empty. We're leaving that as empty. So empty, we're leaving this as empty as well. And yeah, these are the only things we want to connect. The name, the WhatsApp, the email, the status, the name, WhatsApp, email, and status. Name, WhatsApp, email, and status, and start date. Yeah, obviously, and start date. So these are the only things that we're linking to it. So right in between these two, when you look at this, right in between these two, we need to create a filter. You need to add a filter to it. Now, the filter you're going to pick is based on the status. The status is what I said here. I've mentioned this multiple times. Until it is closed, you should not do anything like this. Until closed. So basically what we're going to do here is that we're setting a filter that says close, right? And we're using another one. And also property is client relation does not exist. So client relation does not exist. What this is basically saying that if we have a client relation that we've created already for this same lead, this same client that you are starting with, if you already have them here, in any case, probably this is a case where you can assume now, because every single I need to explain this all round now. This should probably run, if I want to give it the time it should run, I would say just once in a day. That's daily. Daily around, let's run this in my time, should be around 8 p.m. Should I set that date? What if I convert a client after 8 p.m.? What should I do in this case? I might probably just have to run it manually myself. However, to avoid that, should I just do it at night? Now this depends. Most times I also have calls 2 a.m. my time. Okay, just pick 0 and let's use it as this. So 11 p.m. my time, every day 11 p.m. my time, because I am also personally trying to see if I could be making my calls rather in the afternoon or in the evening, rather than having to have my calls in the morning or an uncomfortable time which I should probably be taking my rest. So I am seeing this scenario not available, not yet. Just save this, and let's go back there again. I should have done this earlier. So we have this at 11, that is at 23. We have this at 00, and we can save this right now. Are you kidding? It's saved already. Lead to client conversion scenario. So yes, okay, we have this now. So every day by 11 p.m. is going to be doing this. Hold on, let's pause that. I need to quickly do something. So that when the heat is too much, I need to just have this next to me. So what I have here, once again, let's just continue from here. So yeah, we've done this connection, and yes, I was explaining the filter. So the filter is meant to say it does not exist, which means that if every single day it runs and you already have an existing client, is it not going to just duplicate the record? So we need to ensure that whichever record it wants to fill in does not currently exist in our client database. So this is one thing I'm going to do. Let's just rename this to client database update, database creation rather. Client profile, database creation, database item creation. All right, so we have that in place, and this one basically does, this watches if a lead, not a client yet. I don't have to explain what a lead and a client is. A lead is not yet your client. It's a prospective client. That's what I say. And a client is someone who works with you already, probably pays you hourly or on a contract or a fixed base. So watches if a lead is set to closed. All right, so we have it set to closed status. So this is just to let you guys understand what I've been trying to do and explain all this while, which is when this watches if the lead is already a closed lead, which is closed status here, it sends it over here. However, we need to set in a filter that ensures that the filter name, what should we call this filter name now? Let's call it gatekeeper. All right, so the main thing we are concerned about here now is to know the first thing, if the status is set to equals to closed. How does my closed look like? Sorry, just this. Okay, I could choose equal to case insensitive, so closed. And and we also need to ensure that while the status is closed, we need to ensure, what was the next thing I mentioned? God, this is why I have the resource guide every single time, because there's a lot going on. That's the client relations does not exist. Yes, the client relation does not exist. So client relation, let's see, property status and a client relation. Oh, okay, sorry, I should have remembered. A client relation, where is our relation here? Client relation does not exist. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We'll first save this, and we're going to reload this to confirm if our client relation is here. Do we have a client relation? This related client does exist here. However, we can't find anything here. So I think this is until we can only run this if it's still not showing client relation. Or am I the one not seeing it? There's nothing like that here. Okay, so what we have to do now is we need to manually save this, and we ensure there's one that is closed. We have a closed here, so let's just leave it as a 2, and we run this alone. Let's run this module alone. So after running this module, we should be able to see if we have a client relation right here. A client, related client. This is actually what we're looking for. So Andrew, now we can pick related clients does not exist. Actually, does not exist. Yes. So if this client relation does not exist yet, we could what? Send it over there. So in any case where you are looking for a particular field, you need to know that there are cases where it will not come up if you've not tried to run it before. So until we run it before, I'm able to see it and I can filter it. So right now we should be able to now send it over. But let's see if we added any other step. So we do have this in place, and we have the third one, which is the link lead to clients. So this one is actually meant to lead the link to clients, meant to take from the clients back, and it's going to link it back to the lead. So what we're doing now is link lead to clients. So we're going to create and update a database item, and the database we're going to connect is the lead. So we're going to connect, or create rather, update a database item, and database item. My god, this has started this shit again. Source item, really bro, really. So I'm going to pick from list, and let's use leads rather than clients. Use leads, and we have our database from leads. Now let's confirm if our database is actually from leads. 45 38, yes, I mean that is basically what it is. Yeah, that's 38 and 45 here. So we have this now. Now what are we meant to do here? Like I said, what we are just trying to do here is we want to link our leads to our clients. So the only thing that we just do here is we look for the page ID, and what we ensure that what we map it in, and also the related client ID that has been created newly by the new lead. So in this case now, I believe that we need to run the previous modules. We need to run them before we can actually test run this one. But right before then, let's check them all out. I did not save this just now. Lead and okay, so that should show this. Okay, so we need the database ID. That's the page ID. We don't have a page ID yet here. It's going to pop up once we have that in, once we load that. So we don't have a page ID yet. We're supposed to say the parents, but no, let us chill. We'll see how that works. So we're going to now connect it back to the newly created related clients. So let's just save this like this. My god, still not saving. You know what, let's leave it that way. Let's unlink and run these existing modules. So we use the value and connect it back here. So let's save this and run this. This went through, okay, the gatekeeper did not see anything. Let's see, choose where to start from now on. Okay, now let's run this. Still giving me the same thing. When this happens, it just gets very annoying. So alright, so I already made the connection better now. So what I just did, the simple thing I had to correct here was I changed it to created time rather than updated time. I realized that if I use updated time, it will only refer back to when last I updated it. But created time, it means that if it ever existed in the first place, it's going to go in. So that was the only difference. Now we're left with something that is actually very simple. We're left with running this. So we're going to run this. Let's choose when to start. Let's say all. So we're going to run this all through. Now the thing is that I already tested multiple times. I already tested it to see if this works, and it worked. But it's giving us something like duplicates. It keeps giving us duplicates. So I'm going to test it right in front of you guys as well, so you guys see what went wrong. Let's delete all this. So remember what we have here is, does not exist. So it's going to pick does not exist, and we run this, and when we run this, it's telling us where to start again. So we choose all, sorry, and I have to start this again. So when we see something happened, it got returned with 0. Now what is happening here is the filter is trying to see, it's called in every single one of them, and the filter is trying to know which one is closed and also what also does not exist. So what we're having here now, we're having the one that is what this is currently, this is closed but does not exist. It's not working. How come it's not working? I mean, nothing exists currently here, right? Nothing. Everything here is empty. It's actually empty. So how do we work around this? What should we do? When I realized that that does not exist, is not working, I had to switch to exist. So when I switch to exist, it means that what it's trying to just say is there anything called a related client? That is what is seen here. And when I run it, let's run once. We need to pick where to start again from all, and we run once. When we see this, it actually went through. First and second went through. So that means it has created a client profile database. Currently, and now you see there's two popped in. We got two popped in, and it's Dave and Danny. Now, you know who Dave and Danny is if you have been following us from the beginning. So Dave and Danny closed and closed. That's Dave and Danny here. So which is correct? Okay, so this is actually correct. However, if we do it again, let's run this from where to start again. That's all. Run once. It's going to create it again, right? That is what is going on here. So how do we avoid this issue of it creating it again? So where we're actually supposed to know from is actually meant to be here. Do we have an existing thing? Do we have anything existing inside here? That's what we're actually meant to know. But we cannot map anything from the left, right? From the right, from my own right. So what do we do? If exist does not work, let's see what works. So we have our related client here, and everything here, ID is basically 0. Let's try ID. Let's try ID does not exist, rather than just the related client. So, and let's go back there and delete every single one we have here. So let's see what comes out of this. We are going to have to keep trying, because even I have no idea how this will come out. So let's see what happens here. I believe I've not selected all here, right? Yes, I've not selected all here. So since I'm running once, I have to do that every single time. So now does not exist is giving us 2, which fulfilled. Yeah, sure. Now let's now try it again. Okay, I do remember. I think I understand why this is happening now. But let us try to run it again. If we run it again, it's still going to give us the same thing, because we've not updated this. And now I do remember why, and that's because we've not updated this data source. So let's use the current details we have here to update that, and we'll see what happens from there. So what we're just looking for is, hold on, the property we added there, client relations.relations does not exist. So it doesn't exist yet. What we're going to do is, let's connect this first and see if this duplicate persists. If it persists, from there we know what we have to do. So let's connect this now. We do have some details now. Finally, we have things we can map into it. So what is here on the resource guide basically says we should update database item, right? Which is to the leads. We have connected the lead tracker, and we've selected the leads itself. That's leads, and okay. So what we have here is leads. We're meant to pick the database item of what we want to work on, and this is a database item ID. This is what we're actually looking for. So we pick that, and we have to fill in the name. Everything is pretty clear here. It says we should take the page ID, the leads page ID, and the related client's ID. These are the only things I actually want to update here. This is the only thing we want to update here. Or let's see, we're picking in legacy. Let's see the source. Legacy and source are different. But let's see because I've been feeling skeptical about this source and ID. It's basically the same thing. All right. So since we have the same thing, let us go back to what we have here. Legacy is like the old ones we used to use back in the days, and we have the name. We're not trying to update our name. We're only trying to update the page ID and the related clients. So the related clients from here should be mapped. Let's map it. Related clients, related lead. So what we have here is actually supposed to be coming from the client's profile ID. So what we do here is from the related client. So we have to pick from related clients, and we have to run the related client. We don't have a related client here, and that's because we're actually meant to create a related client here. Let's check out our related clients, and let's see the details we have here. So currently we have this related lead, related project, and we said that we're meant to create this and connect related clients, the leads page ID, the newly created clients page ID. Okay, I'm trying to recollect how I did this for my own account. Okay, let's see, total projects, not actually this. We're not concerned with this or the project yet. We're concerned with the client. So what this is supposed to actually give us is the database ID, the data source, okay, page ID. Because what it's supposed to do is to update this for us. This is what we really need, not this. We don't need all this. Let's make this empty so we get probably to see it in a shorter way. Maybe this will help us understand it very well. We don't need to update any of all this. You can actually keep it all empty because you're only trying to update one particular thing. Remember, we're only trying to update this, so we can have something here. We want to have something right here. That's what we're trying to do. So let's see. After this run, the lead record shows the client in related clients, and the client record shows also in related leads. Okay, we should check this out. So what I thought about was that if the entire idea I put together was to create something, or no, from something existing, change the value or change the status or the lead tail, whichever one it's called. Here's what I actually mean. Change the lead tail, that's what I mean here. Close the status rather. And once changed, it sends to another database and it comes back to this original database. So okay, yes, to be clear, what we did here, this same database, this is watching, so you can't see, it's not trying to fill a form. So this database is also the same thing as this. So if we have everything in place before, what is missing? All we have left that is missing, we have everything in place except for this. I mean, this is manually, so you can skip that out. Except for this is exactly what's missing, right? And we have this, and we are sending it here, but we need to update it to connect it back there. So we have to fill up what is missing. And what is missing is just what we filled up here, which is this. Remember, we're not filling up the name again. If we actually map this, it's going to change, or it's the same thing, but what's the use? Just you can close everything to be empty. It will still return only this. So what I'm saying is that if you leave this open, you could leave this open, but I would not say you should. So just close everything. Everything else should be empty. Rather, this should be the only thing. Now, what we're mapping back is the database item from what we just created. What I mean here is that since we created this client, what we need is for it to recognize this client back to this here. Yeah, we can see it here. So we only want to select the page and add the page inside, right? Meaning we only just need this, which we have in place already, the database item. So what we need was the database item all along. This was why it got confusing even to me, because I felt like I already dropped the database item here, which is specifying which database item you are taking from, right? And I was like, if you are taking from me, why do I have to input the same thing here again? And it's just that I forgot why that was supposed to come in the second time. And what I'm basically saying is that you just need to take this database item back here, this back here. How we're going to confirm that is, remember, we had this in place. You can see what we have here. Let's go back here to, this is just an extra, just skip this. So what we have is this, Dave and Danny, same thing as what we can see here. So this is actually what we need back again to link it to the other page. So we could just we could just do like this and map that database item, which is also the same. How do we know it's actually the database item? When you click on, let's click on Danny, since we are working on Danny at the moment. Let's use this for example. You can see that this number here, if you get to read it very well, I should probably zoom this in. This number here matches with what we have here. When we use this, let's open Danny. You should remember we're working with Danny right now. I want to see if it's actually the database item, if this is what we really need. We want to confirm through this. So we're going to open Danny. This is open here. Open. You can see this open inside pick. I'm going to slide it in. And we want to see the database ID itself. So we get to expand and we look up here. This is the database ID. Now we're going to look at the numbers and see if it's actually correct. We have 38. Let's move further in the future. I actually love saying that a lot, sorry. BBC9, right? BBC, let's just say BBC. BBC, all right. Yeah, so we have the database ID. We're going to show the mapping, which is also going to show us the ID. And this is BBC38BBC9. So that's actually what we're looking for. Now let's see if the database also corresponds with it. And that should be BBC9 as well. So with this, we have actually solved all our problems and we have everything together in place now. So now rather than this, we could just we can't map it by saying we should pick one of this. It will be very wrong because every single time it will always pick Danny. Every single time. So what we need to do there is to map instead. Map it to the current one because we're not just handling Danny, we're handling a lot of clients coming in the future, right? So we have to pick this database item ID and save it in and save. So what we're going to do now, we're going to test run every single one of them by going back to clients and delete. I hope all these are not added as move to trash. All right, so let's just run everything again. So we're saving this and we're running once. Okay, we need to do something. We need to start all. Since we're not running daily yet, we can just run once here and everything should map in correctly. Okay, so we do have another issue come up. What does it say? Related client is a property. It's not a property that exists. Okay, let's see. Because we are correct, use the right source ID in the data source ID feed. Match the related ID feed name to the real Notion property. Now, what it's basically saying is that we are supposed to get a related client ID. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. We should go back, data source ID, and let's see. It's basically telling us that this is not supposed to be the one. Data source ID. It's basically telling us that should not be the one. We need to look at it again. Okay, so we have Dave, Danny. That is why, right? That is why we decide to map it in. That is why we decide to map this in. Let's see, database item, this. And we add the related for this. Okay, let's try this again to see if that was probably the problem we had. Let's see and delete this and let's confirm that what we have here is nothing, still nothing, no results. Obviously. And let's try to run it again. So when we try to run it, to first stop here and we need to, wow, it actually went through. I thought we actually needed to do that. So we see that everything went through finally. So that was actually the problem. The problem all along was the fact that you guys also need to know this. When I was creating this, I created a module before this, which was 1. This is module 2. When you see this number 2, this is module 3, module 4, right? Right now we only have 3 modules. That's 1, 2, 3. But because of this, and because I initially expected myself to create module 1, which was the plan all along, the 1 ID and the 2 ID. That was my plan all along. Now seeing 2 and 3 instead has been one of the things that have been making me feel what is going on. So while it's still 1 and 2, in your own case it's going to be 1 and 2 if you actually start your modules by this. So it's what I'm just basically trying to say now is that if I create another module right here, this will be module 5. You can see this module 5. If I create another module as well, this will be module 6, but module 6 this time around is connected to module 4. So you can see that the numbers actually doesn't matter, but it matters when you are mapping, so you get to know what exactly you're actually mapping. So you see this is 2 and 3. That was what I've been actually trying to solve since. That's one of the reasons actually, not the entire reason. Now the main reason we got here was because the data source item ID was what we needed to map back in. So now we finally have this in and we can save this since we finally have it updated. We can see on our clients, we have our clients here. You can see it's related lead. It's also connected back. And why was it connected? We did not connect it, right? Yes. But because we already threw the updated ID back to the lead database. So you can see the lead database has been updated. And because of that, because it's connected to the client ID here, it also got updated. So we get to know this is actually for Dave and this is for Danny. So this is how to connect your entire Notion CRM. And you can use this for your automation business. You can use it rather than having to depend on just using Upwork, getting leads in and all. You can have every single one of your details here. And one of the reasons why I actually thought about this was because when I started freelancing generally, before I started using Upwork, when I was using Fiverr and also when I was doing cold calls, cold outreach and all those, I remember I was not keeping details like this. And I'll be very honest with you, that it hurts my business. Till now, it hurt my business because being able to get in touch with some of my past clients, especially when my Fiverr account and several other accounts got blocked, even LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything, it was very hard because I didn't bother keeping their details. I didn't. I was dependent on all those platforms, and it really affected me. And because of that, I would advise anyone to actually get this. I mean, you can see your client connected right from your lead tracker to your client's database and also to your projects. Now, anytime we create a new project, which you can create manually, it's going to be what? It's going to affect every single one of them. What I mean here is that if you create a new project with a new page, you could we could create a project from here, or we could create a project from here itself. Could actually create a project from here and give it a project name. We want to build, let's say we are building all this for Daniel, for example. So we are building what are we building first? We're building, let's just bring all these things we built all together. Now the digital receptionist for Daniel, right? Let's create this for Danny. Let's create it for Danny. And let's say project Danny. And we decide to choose a client. And the client we choose is Danny. This is Danny. And we decide to choose Danny. And we felt, okay, the status that we're going to pick for Danny is, or we've not actually picked the status. But when it comes to projects, you should see I added a couple of status ideas here. Where's the project? So we have project here. So for discovery, building, testing, we have not updated that. So we can do that now. Where is projects? This is projects. So you could add discovery, building, testing, live, and archived. That is discovery. Hey, I have it upside down. Discovery, there's a building, there's a testing, that is live, and oh my god, I might have to check that. Imagine I entirely forgot not archive, archive. So archived, and all we need to do is as simple as we are in the building phase. We decide to pick the building phase, and you can update every single. So more of anytime, most of this will be handled automatically using your AI system. Every single thing you've built in place, this will be handled. You don't need to be bothered about this. You almost don't need to be bothered about this actually, aside from just the notes and when to change this if it's from warm to hot, or from cold to hot, basically. So you are only concerned about this, changing this when it's closed or qualified or closed, or this person is contacted or not interested. And you might have to put notes manually. It's your own choice. You just want to put notes so you get to understand where you are or what your conversation was with the client. Or probably like the example I gave where I mentioned you could use a call transcribe, or like that's Phantom, Alter, whichever one you decide to use. You don't need to be concerned about this, because eventually when you pick this on the live, when you pick the closed on live, it's going to update this by itself. And the next thing that's going to happen is it's going to add this to the related leads. Now you can see that we have a related project here because of what? Just a simple creating this. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create another page. I'm going to add, let's say, support ticket, and you decide to put this under Danny as well. You see the changes that are going on live. You put this under Danny as well. So Danny has 2, and you are probably in the Discord or the testing phase for this. So, and you can just do all this by yourself. I mean, it's nothing much. So when it comes to this, we're going to see on our client, and we'll see he has digital receptionist and support tickets. So I mean, if you have this in place, you do not have to, you won't be confused at any point, because this is actually enough for anyone to have something, to be able to track something and be able to understand something. Now you can see the roll-up is working. We have 2 projects. It's going to calculate what we have here. So when you have all this in place, I would assume that this person has a very good and structured system. It's enough for you to grow. It's enough for you to scale with this. Notion is free, and it should be something anyone can use rather than having to pay for the likes of ClickUp, Airtable, or any other platform out there. You can just use Notion and arrive at what you would also use for all those platforms. So this was very interesting, even for me, because I forgot a lot of things which I had to pick up from here. And yeah, it was very nice. So when it comes to this onboarding, no, this person is active with us, this person is paying. While we have Dave is not paying. Dave is actually still on onboarding phase. So yeah, that's everything, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed all the time we had here together. I really did, once again. And you can build this for yourself as well. Now you see that everything we have here, these are the things that you might have to change every single time. I already included it here. These are the only things you might really have to change, which involves the leads, that's the status filters, the lead TI filters, and yeah, you just have to change all this. So most of the time, at the end of the day, to have it saved to clients and projects, whoever it is must first be closed before this person can join the other databases. This person must be closed. So we have, from here now, we're going to have active clients. When you have an active client, we could also build something else that could ensure that when you have an active client, it does something. Probably we can create like a sort of input where it's going to automatically create a project for us instead of manually going there. But in most cases, I would say I would just create projects for myself, because you don't know which kind of project you want to create. Except, like I said, if you're an agency and you know the services you want to render. But most AI automation specialists out there just get jobs like from Upwork or from direct messages or other platforms. So in this case, they don't have a specific service. But I would really, really, really advise you to pick one thing. I personally am picking just outreach. I'm picking outreach. I'm not picking it, that's what I do. And yes, I don't build much systems other than that, but I can also help on operations and anywhere else to just ensure that that particular agency or the client's business is running very well. I build all these things in place. It's one of the reasons also why I'm putting this out there as well. So, all right, I'm glad I was able to do this with you guys. See you guys in the next class. I believe we have the next thing is day 23, right? Yes. So we'll see you guys there. All right.